in the bar.
Remember one time we found Rock cuddling a dude at the bar?
Nick Barhorst, you were off of offense. And then he walks away and Nick goes,
Is it rolling though? Be rolling?
Yeah, we're rolling.
Let me think. Hang on.
Anything come to mind?
Hang on.
this is live, Devin.
I know. All right, I got it. I got it. No, that doesn't make sense, actually. Hold on.
God. Let me start a timer.
All right, I got this. What's up? No, hang on. What do we all post on?
Hello.
Are we on Spotify and YouTube still?
Yeah. Well, this
Hello.
episode 55 is not on YouTube or on Spotify yet.
So is this 56? I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Ooh, I think. Yeah. Let's call it 56.
This is episode 56 of Speaking Sporadically. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, viewers of YouTube, listeners of podcasts. We're here with some new guests, some longtime fans, some best friends of mine. Me and Jacob are here, and you want to introduce yourself, old Bronch? Miller.
I'm Owen.
These guys are some good friends of ours. They were in my grade. Played football with them. Owen's my next door neighbor. I think I've talked about you before.
Really?
I think I've definitely mentioned
Yeah.
you, but you're my neighbor. Plays for the band. Dope. Bronch. Funny guy. He's been a friend a long time. He's actually the one that wanted to get on the pod. He's just been calling me like, yo, bro, let me on sometime. Just busting. I'm like, let's do it.
Yep.
Because we're going to hammer out. We got a guest next week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got another
Yeah.
guest next week.
We're trying to just guest every episode if we can.
We're going to try. At least for like this season, at least for a while.
Keep it fresh,
Yeah. So it's going to be a good one today. So I'm just going to start it off. I'm going to tell a couple of my stories from this past weekend. I went camping with the scouts. I was an assistant scoutmaster. And this weekend was somewhat dry and somewhat wet. And as you guys know, I'm a vivid hammock sleeper. Not a vivid. What's the word I'm looking at? Avid. I'm an avid hammock sleeper. So I love sleeping in my hammocks, tied up to trees. But obviously, me and Jacob and Isaiah have talked about doing trips where we sleep in hammocks, and we just go a whole weekend and we build ourselves like a little hammock village. And we need, obviously, if we're going to do this for long periods of time, we're going to need some way to make it more versatile. Because right now, I only slept in hammock when it's going to be like perfect weather, because they're very vulnerable to the weather.
So Devin went out and did some field testing for us.
Exactly. I said this so many times. Like, this weekend was a proof of concept weekend because we were supposed to get some heavy rain and some good storms. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to put my idea to test. So I had my two trees, right? And I tied my hammock between them. And then above it, I just tied a rope, like, just a couple feet above. And what I was going to do, I was going to drape a tarp over that and basically grab the corners and tie them down to the ground. So basically, I just have like a little tent over me, just like a little, triangle over me, and I sleep right under it. And hopefully that's strong enough for the storm. So I did it. I had a few learning points because at first I was just going to tie the corners down. So if you think about it, right, the hammock's here and then the tarp. And then you tie each corner down. That's what I was really going to do. But what I found is because the tarp has to be so long, the middle gets so loose. And it was literally touching my hammock because it would sag in. So what I did is I tied the bottom. And then I basically had one rope tied to the edge of the tarp and the middle of the tarp, and I staked like in between. So basically I had 2 points of rope pulling on the tarp on each corner basically. So each side had basically 4 pieces of rope coming off the holes into 2 stakes, and then hopefully that would make me waterproof. Friday night didn't have much rain. It was just a normal night. But then Saturday we were supposed to get big storms, and it was supposed to be pretty heavy, and I'm like, all right, if I wake up and I'm wet, I'm going to be livid. I had no backup plan, by the way. I had no B plan. So if I woke up at 3 a.m. sopping wet, I'm like, I guess I'm sitting under the shelter house for the next 10 hours till I leave. But it was beautiful. It worked beautifully. I say completely dry.
Did it rain heavy?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was loud, too. I woke up because the reason I woke up is I also checked to see if there's anything wet because it was massive thunder and they were so loud too. And it was such a big delay. Like, I don't know how it was so loud because I would see the flash. It'd be like a solid 15 seconds, like a long time. I'm like, it can't be that loud so far away. Just rocks the whole place. Oh my goodness. It was deafening. but it was a complete success. I was so happy. I was so proud.
Yeah.
I was like, I felt so good. I'm like,
Yeah.
because I look so dope over there. Everyone else had their tents. My hammock's there, and you just have a tarp over it, just a gray tarp with it all tied down. I'm like, I'm such a camper.
Yeah.
I'm such a man.
My brother must have had a fluke with his because he said he got a little wet.
Yeah, because Sherm's brother was camping with me, and he was basically on the same tree with me, but like a different one. Like I had these two, and we shared one tree basically, and he basically did the exact same thing I did. The only problem with his though is his like sagged a little bit more than mine, because I knew if a storm gets bad, then the wind will almost make the rain come in at an angle or whatever. Yeah. So I have to make sure that I have good enough side. I can't just do top. So I basically had, if my tarp was like this, right? My hammock was literally like right under it. Like I had to duck under my tarp, stand up, and like there was still very little clearance, but I sat in it, then I sagged down to a good level. I think your brother's problem was his was a little more
too much space in between.
Yeah, too much space in between. So by the time he laid in it and sagged, like he had a good foot under the tarp. Like if you would go look at it straight, you could see like a foot of his hammock kind of sagging under. And I'm guessing the winds were strong enough that it came in at an angle and hit his bottom.
Yeah, best case scenario, you want your tarp to be all the way like 6 inches above the ground.
Yeah, like I forget, me and your brother were talking, we literally had an idea, like we should just get a tarp big enough and put it all the way to the ground, one side all the way to the ground, so if there's a storm, that's where it's going to come from, and then the other side go like halfway. So we're basically like fully enclosed almost.
Kind of like a tent almost.
Yeah, honestly, it's really a hammock inside of a tent.
Yeah.
But either way, it was a good time. It was a good week. That's all I have for that. Want to go to the NFL draft?
Yes.
Where the Steelers made out like bandits.
I don't know.
Bandits.
I don't know.
You
Do you think Kenny Pickett would have went like before you guys just pick in the second round, or if you guys moved up early in the second round?
So when I watched the first round, and after each pick went by and a quarterback wasn't taken, I was getting ecstatic because like these quarterbacks aren't the best quarterback class, but they were still projected to, probably go first round, and the Steelers were looking to get a quarterback.
Well, the over-under for quarterbacks in the first round was 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
I would have taken the under on that all day.
Yeah, I probably would have too, but I still thought it would be probably two guys, maybe three quarterbacks, and the picks just kept going on, and a lot of people kept trading up to picks like, oh, they need a quarterback. Like the Tennessee Titans traded right in front of us. I'm like, oh, they're going to snipe a quarterback. They know we want it. And there was like Washington Commanders and a bunch of other guys.
They were at like 13, and then they went back to 19 with I don't remember what team, but maybe the Eagles, because the Eagles traded up for Jordan Davis right in front of the Ravens.
Eagos, Giants, Jets. Like there was a lot of teams who could use a quarterback.
Saints trade? Was it the Eagles? Saints
think
traded up to 11th and got Olave.
Falcons were in front of us, which I don't even know who their quarterback is now. 8. Yeah, like they were in front of us.
Mariota.
Oh,
yeah, Marcus Mariota.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They drafted someone, but that was late. That was like third round, and I don't remember which one it was. Because it wasn't Malik, was it? Was it?
Yeah, I think they got Malik Willis. No, or was it Desmond Ridder?
It was Ridder. It was Ridder because they took him, and then a couple people were like, "What are they doing?" But yeah.
Yeah.
Hang on a second. I gotta start the timer.
Oh, I got one.
Oh, I bet. Never mind.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, so I was super pumped when none of the quarterbacks, because I was expecting to not have either Malik or Pickett. I was expecting, we're probably not going to get one. We'll probably just draft someone else. But as they kept getting closer and they weren't picking, I'm like, we might actually get one. I was pumped. And by the time it came to us and we had all the choices, we had a full hand and we could pick anyone we want. And then they chose Pickett, and I was pretty happy with that.
Yeah,
I think I like that pick.
It was a crazy first round because there was like, even with 8 teams not having a pick in the first round, there was so much movement in that first round. It was a lot. It was insane. Took forever.
I think that was projected too, like just having a lot of teams with a lot of movement going on. Like with the Eagles having they have 2, and then another team had 3 of them, 3 first rounders.
Yeah.
So I didn't know how it was going to work out, and I thought those would they'd trade back because they don't need all 3 of them.
Yeah.
Some team would get hungry for a first round pick.
That's what I saw. There's so many teams that wanted to trade back. The door was really open to move up, so there's a lot of movement. Bengals moved up in the second round, and then they moved up again in the 5th round. I was very pleased with their draft class. Got a lot of speed in the back end. Got some defensive line help. They only drafted 1 offensive lineman. They only drafted 1 offensive player, I think.
Well, I know you guys got better in the offseason at O-line for sure.
Yeah,
there was big moves with the Patriots, I think, and then a couple other teams. So like you guys didn't really need.
Yeah, we didn't
all
need
of
the
the help
draft
in the
offensive
draft.
line too much. Yeah, we picked up 3 free agents: Ted Karras, Alex Kappa, and Lael Collins.
Yeah,
So,
those are 3 solid pieces.
yeah.
The thing is with O-linemen, I'd never think an O-lineman is that good out of college. I think being a good O-lineman is all about experience
Yeah,
and time.
'cause, I mean, you're not even fully grown from an NFL, those big body standpoints until you're like 25, 26.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're getting drafted at 22, you're going to be undersized for the next 3 years of your career.
Yeah. But that's the only pick I actually watched of the Steelers. And it was actually really cool because Franco Harris was the one that announced the pick. And I think he was the only person that announced the pick besides Roger Goodell for all the other picks.
Really?
Because I know Roger Goodell almost always hogs.
Yeah.
Like, even the announcers said it, like, he hogs the first rounds. I mean, it's his league, so okay. But I think Franco Harris was the only one that actually announced it.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's an NFL legend, so
Yeah.
it makes sense. But
But then after that, all the other rounds, they had a whole bunch of guests.
It's
like
random.
Chase Claypool, MMG, you know,
Was
the
he? Was he
the
up there?
YouTube.
The kicker?
The Madden. Yeah, he is a kicker,
he's a
but
kicker.
he's a Madden YouTuber.
Yeah.
He did one. There was a few others. Did Snoop Dogg do one?
there's no way.
No
I
way
don't
he was
think so.
sober
They got
enough to
Snoop
go
Dogg
up
up there?
there.
I don't think so.
Yeah, but they always have some Make-A-Wish kids and
Yeah.
everything go up there and do them, so they're pretty cool.
Foundations and charities and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah. Who the Browns get? I haven't heard anything about that.
So,
Well, they didn't have a first round,
they
did
did
they?
not. And then in the second round, they were at 44, and I wanted them to grab N'Kobe Dean, but then
I was
then we
shocked.
traded back to 68. Like we traded back to 68 with the Texans and got like a bunch of our assets back from the Deshaun Watson trade. So we got like a 3rd rounder and then a
Yeah.
3rd rounder, and then we traded our 4th round pick for a 5th rounder and a 3rd next year or something like that. It was something wild. So we just kept trading back, but at 68, I know we got a kicker this year. We got they were just like small name guys. Like we didn't grab a big namer, especially our first pick being at 68. There wasn't really much we could do, but corners, because I think one of our corners is going after this year. The ends, that's about it.
White Day. I was shocked at how far N'Kobe Dean slid.
I was very surprised.
Yeah.
But
I was
supposedly
shocked
he
that-
refused that pec injury. He had a pec injury in
Oh, he got hurt.
the college football championship, and he refused to get surgery on it. So I think that's why he slid. I was still surprised.
Oh. Like he still needs it worked on,
Yeah.
or he's going to try to play through this injury.
I don't know. I think they might have to make him because, like, if they're going to pay him money,
Yeah.
it makes sense for them to
For him-
make him have surgery.
Yeah.
I
That's
don't know.
weird.
What I think.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
I was very surprised at how, like, back to the quarterback for the Pittsburgh situation, Malik Willis didn't go to, like, the late 3rd round.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
makes me think maybe we did reach on Pickett.
That's the
Like,
thing. Like,
If Malik, which was the top quarterback, most people would probably pick Malik Willis over Kenny Pickett.
Well, they
Like,
said-
He has
they
the
were-
higher odds.
they
yeah.
said
Picked
most
first.
upside
Yeah.
was with Malik.
Like, they were pretty close, but Malik was probably the first quarterback. And if he went to the late 3rd round, like, Steelers probably could have waited to get Kenny, even though I thought they would all be gone by late 1st round.
I was very surprised because while I don't think it's a bad pick for the Steelers, was he at like that valuable to go 2 rounds above any other quarterback?
Yeah, I know. That's the same way.
2 whole rounds. I was that's why I was surprised.
I was, I don't know if I want to say mad or, like, shocked. I'm like, we did reach on him, I guess. Like, we could have got him later, but
I
I
needed him though. Like
I know.
Yeah.
because no team can guess when the next quarterback's going to go off the board, and then you're in a frenzy and you have to trade up and give away assets. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if on your draft board you're not reaching for him and that's your guy, just take him.
Mhm.
You know?
just depends how much confidence they had in that pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they still got a good receiver in the 2nd round.
Yeah.
So like, I don't see a problem with it.
Absolute great situation for him. Because Pitt and the
Yeah.
Pittsburgh Steelers facilities are
Or
right next to
combined.
each other, if
Yeah.
not touching.
They're the same building.
So, he doesn't have to go anywhere.
That's probably
amazing.
another upside for him. He was a homeboy. You know, he went to Pitt, has been in Pitt forever, and they're like, everyone wants him, you know?
Yeah.
I'm
All
pretty
the Pittsburgh
sure.
fans.
I'm pretty sure they share a practice.
Yeah, they
field.
do.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Same facility that you've been doing for 4 years. Keep it going.
Mm-hmm. Another thing I was surprised about was, like, the actual like people trades, like Marquise Brown.
Yes.
Was already
AJ
set.
Brown?
AJ Brown. I was having a battle with Jason on our fantasy league, and he's like, honestly, Titans made a smart play. I'm like, they just traded away AJ Brown to get like the 4th or 5th rookie receiver.
Well, the thing is, like, who they drafted was literally a replica of AJ
Yeah.
Brown, just younger and like, but less like experience.
Yeah.
So I didn't
Like,
understand.
Well-
all I saw was they literally traded away AJ Brown to get a better pick to get someone that was a crappier version of AJ Brown.
But the good point Jason made is AJ Brown was demanding the money, right?
obviously,
So they were going to have to pay him over $100 million to keep him, and I don't think they wanted to do that. So now they can just pay this rookie. You know, he's a first rounder, so they'll have to give him like a $20 million contract. But that's for
It's a rookie contract
Yeah.
and it's 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah,
You got the extra year extension because he's a first rounder. So if he's as good as AJ Brown, they look like geniuses, right? Because they're
Yeah.
saving all that money.
And they got a 3rd rounder out of it too.
Yeah.
that's a gamble. If he was like the 3rd or 2nd receiver, I'd be like, okay. But he was literally like the 5th. He was like the 5th best receiver, and by that point, like the 5th best receiver is probably pretty close to the 10th best receiver.
But with this year's draft class, I don't know about that. Like the receivers this year, while the quarterbacks were so, it's like
Yeah, the
the
receivers,
receivers
were
were
pretty
really
stacked.
deep this year.
Yeah, that's probably true. I don't know. I guess we'll see. But do you see Lamar Jackson's tweet? Yes. after they traded away Marquise Brown, he literally just tweeted WTF.
I was watching the Pat McAfee show, and they brought that up on screen live, and they were crying. It was hilarious.
I mean, I would be mad too if I was Lamar.
Yeah.
Marquise Brown is good.
Yeah.
And they traded him away. And I don't even think they drafted a receiver.
Yeah, I think they went defense with that
Yeah.
pick.
So they literally just got rid of their best receiver, and
I'm
Lamar's
still-
like, "Yo,
I'm still scared of the Ravens being
Yeah.
in the AFC.
Yeah,
North.
they got Tyler Linderbaum. That's if he fell to the Bengals, I really wanted them to get him.
They got a lot better. Like
Yeah.
I think they got
Overall,
So they
a
got
lot better
Hamilton, Linderbaum, and then I don't know. They were getting some studs. They were stacked. I was not happy reading that because their defense is always good. It always shuts the Browns out pretty much.
mm-hmm.
We can never score against the Ravens, but
Browns are just not good.
we're coming for 2nd place in the division this year.
I think it'll be a toss-up again.
Tight race.
I have no clue. I think it's It's gonna be another fun season,
Yeah,
but
even we're gonna go even harder in fantasy this year.
yeah. Stepping up the punishments. Got anything to add on? Been kind of quiet, but
No, sir, this is not my topic.
this is not my topic.
You rock any NFL teams, Owen?
No. I make sure not to do that because if I get called out on my knowledge about any
Yeah,
of it-
if you get in an argument,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, you'll lose.
They'd be like, whose jersey you wearing? Wait, let me check. Like,
Yeah.
It's that bad. Like, I just do not involve myself with it at all. Never really have.
It was like whenever we'd have Jersey Thursdays or whatever. He was always wearing the TJ Hushmanzada or whatever.
No, it's Gresham.
It's Jermaine
It
Gresham.
was Jermaine Gresham.
Big 84 Bengals
Yeah.
jersey.
I'd be like, oh, and whose jersey you got on? Gresham, I think.
Yeah. Something. I don't know.
You did play football though.
He was
We all
pretty
did
good.
actually.
did.
Now that I
He
think
was
about
pretty
it.
good.
Mean linebacker. Should we tell some Brock stories?
Some
I know.
Brock stories?
I know one that
What
I
do
don't
we
know
got?
if you'll care or not.
What do you got? throw it out.
Let me
ultimate
whisper.
judge.
Let me whisper.
I don't know if
Let me
you'll
whisper.
care or
Let me
not.
whisper.
Were you the guy that got shot in the butt
No.
with a BB gun
You know, like
When?
during football season?
you know.
No.
Okay.
Who was
You think you
who was
care?
that, Dev?
I don't think so.
One of you guys in the grade above me got shot in the butt with a BB gun.
No, wasn't it Stumpy?
Oh yeah.
Was it?
I know it was at
Grade
the
above
end.
us?
It was Stump.
I'm pretty sure it was Stumpy.
When?
Stump managed to get hurt during football, like the most
Like
of
mid-season,
anybody.
and he had to
I
like
know-
tell coach like, yeah, I gotta take a day off. You know, I got a really bad BB gun wound.
I think I'd remember getting shot in the butt, but
Yeah, like it was
maybe
like
not.
it was a pellet. I think like he had a full pellet.
Wasn't that? That was when we were like young, though. I feel like that wasn't.
You guys are
In
probably
high school.
sophomores.
Yeah,
Well, I remember it like on varsity night, so I had to be at least a freshman.
yeah, okay.
I feel like I remember that. Something like that.
I don't really remember that, but I have a terrible memory. But anyway.
What do you got?
Anyway. So you'll help me out here too, Owen.
All
so
right.
Brock, whenever he played, honestly, whenever he was on the field at all, Brock was the last one on the bottom of the pile. I don't know how he managed. He could be the last one to the tackle. He'd be at the bottom of the pile, and he would be the last one to get up every time.
The best part is the whole pile would be on Brock. Everybody's jumping off and they're getting up, shaking themselves up. Brock is laid down dead at the bottom of the pile like Family Guy, like Peter Griffin with the arm rolled back behind him or something. And he'd just sit there and he'd lay there. And then we'd be like, uh-oh, is Brock hurt? Then he'd go, boom, and he'd just get back up and he'd get back out of the pile.
Everyone would be gone. Everyone would be gone. Brock would be laying there. It's like,
anytime he'd even get like hit, like Brock could get like a solo tackle or something, wrap around the dude, nail him. We're like, yeah, Brock. Brock's laying dead on the ground.
the other dude's
then
getting
he'd
up,
pop
walking
up.
away. Like, there were so many times where we were like seconds away from the trainer going,
Yeah.
because Brock's just laying there. And then he just shoots right back up and
The thing
stands
is,
up.
like, I'd be beneath a guy
Yeah.
or something, and
So
like
it's not like you could
you're
move.
just sitting there at the bottom of the pile. You have, what is it, 2,000?
Yeah.
You got 10 guys.
He's got
and
the
you got
muscle
like
memory
2,000
of
pounds
free-
on,
yeah.
and you're just sitting there like this. You're like, "What's up, guys?" Like you're sitting in the pile.
Remember the one time we found Brock cuddling a dude at the
Yeah.
Brock,
I don't know if that was the ball carrier or not.
I don't think it.
Yes,
I
it
don't
was.
remember.
Yes,
it
it
probably
was.
was. We'll
I
give him
hope
that.
it was.
Brock was literally cuddling, legs wrapped around, arms on the ground, laying
Full
down.
on, like, bear hugging.
I was just making sure he went down.
And that's just the
Just
best
wrapped up.
like discovery. Like you're peeling people off the
Good
pile.
job,
You're
good
like,
job.
Brock, where's Brock? Where's Brock? And he's wrapped around this guy at the bottom, and we're like, all right. Like, hey, take your time, man.
You good, Brock? He's like, yeah. You just lay there, and then
I
shoot
got
right
him.
back
I
up.
got him.
I was protecting him.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so funny.
Poor
I
guy.
can't really speak though. I didn't. I had my plenty of fair share of embarrassing.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody does.
Mhm.
Everybody wants to be the hero beast on the football team, but there's always embarrassing stuff that happens.
It feels like
Always.
the harder you try, sometimes the more you'll get embarrassed if like you
yeah.
fail.
The dumber you
Yeah.
look, almost.
Yep.
Like that's why whenever we would do like tackling drills, it's the worst of both worlds because like if you go hard and you hit him and it works, then great job. But if you whiff, like if you run straight at him, he just
Coach Meyer.
You got
is
Coach
on.
Meyer
Coach
all over
Meyer
you.
is. Come on, Kitsy. I know you're better than that. And it's like,
But then
Yeah.
the next time you would go, you would run and you'd break down and then you would hit him. He's like, hit him with some power.
yeah,
Come
he's
on.
Like, he's like, where's that power from last time? I'm like, dude, you just told me
I feel
not
like you
to.
always do something wrong. Like, it's,
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I know they're trying to make you better, but it always makes it feel like you're doing something wrong.
That was
every
my
time you do
biggest
it.
problem. It's either I run straight at him and I completely whiff, they juke me out, or I break
Or you-
down
yeah, you go
and I
slow,
wrap
watch
and then I
every
get run
move.
over. Like
Yeah.
I'll still bring him down, but I just like I can't hit him with power. It's so hard to do both.
No, the worst was the tackle wheel. Every rep the exact same. Like decent reps, different critiques every time.
Yes.
Or one would be amazing, done, well done, well done.
Yeah.
Let's do the same exact thing. Hey, get lower.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, all right.
I didn't mind the tackle wheel just because I got to watch Nick use the wrong shoulder.
Oh
Every
my
rep.
goodness.
Nick would tackle the front of the tackle wheel every time.
We would
with
tell
like
him.
his right shoulder.
He would ask us, he's like, okay, so if it goes this way, I got to go with this shoulder, right? This shoulder. Yes,
We're
Nick,
like-
this shoulder. And, he's like,
and then he'd
lines
go
up.
do it, left shoulder, and he goes, I don't know, something feels wrong. I don't know. I'm like, you're not right, Nick.
It was
That's
the
not right.
funniest thing because Coach would rip him. It's
Coach
like,
hated that.
Nick, that's the wrong shoulder. And he's like, like it's like he had dyslexia. He was sitting
Put
there
up, put up
My
the
favorite,
L's.
my favorite Nick Barhorse story is Nick messed something up on offense. He's on the sideline. We're not even talking about it. We're talking about something completely different, me and Nick. And then Coach Wells, I didn't even see Nick screw up. Nick didn't even come back and didn't tell me he screwed up, so I just think Nick just got off the field. We're talking. Coach Wells comes up and he goes, Nick Barhorst, you were off of offense. And then he walks away and Nick goes, yes.
Nick did hate offense.
He hated it.
He just didn't know what was going on.
No, Nick, you got to explain something to him a few hundred times.
He's a smart kid,
He's smart.
but I just don't think like some of the easy stuff doesn't
It's
come
like on
easy
D,
to
he
him.
was,
like it
Yeah.
would for
on
other
D,
people.
he was a beast.
He was fine. Yeah, he was fast. He was quick. He knew what to do.
Freaking
But
shin
yeah.
hunter. He would chop people's
Yeah.
Oh,
shins
yeah.
with his
Yeah.
helmet. Oh my gosh.
Like with the tackling wheel, you could tell it would translate to the field on Friday night because like Nick would get the guy down every time. He'd be one-on-one out there with someone, and he's gonna get him down. But he shoves his head right in front of the guy's shins, and
Oh yeah.
the guy's going down.
Nick just lays down in
But
front of him. Yeah.
It would work every time.
because he can't pick which shoulder. Like I even did this at linebacker. I was middle linebacker, and then it's like you see the hole, you feel the hole. There's a guy coming through there that's like 6 feet tall, and I'm 5'5", and he's barreling straight through, arms like this, and you were like, I don't know which shoulder I'm going to use. All I know is I literally have to try to kill this man. And like, I would just put my head down. Doctors told me I had like 2 inches left to grow. When I was still 5'5", they're gone. I compressed everyone by hitting head first. The amount of cracks from my neck I would hear from hitting people just head on, because you can't pick which side in that split second. I remember St. Henry. We were playing St. Henry, and I fill my A gap or whatever, and this dude's coming through, and I nail this guy, and it goes, and I'm like, oh, I'm feeling my back, and I don't even know if I got him. I'm staying up. I'm still standing. I like hit this guy with my head, and he's on the ground, and I'm sitting there, and all my teammates are like, "Get you, yeah!" And I'm like,
that's the
like
worst.
it was like Call of Duty. It's just and then it comes back, and you're like,
Yeah.
ow, I have to go do that again. And you're like,
The funniest thing, I'm going to pick on Owen now for a little bit. It's because he was so small. He didn't have a very big wingspan. He was one of the hardest hitters I would see, but he wouldn't make the tackle because he would be sitting there. The guy runs, Owen, nails him, just bounces right off his
Yeah. He doesn't have the body weight.
I'd give him everything I got, and I would freaking rail him.
would.
I would just bounce off it.
Because I would usually I was the will backer, which
Yeah.
they played like the speed
Dolph always
side.
finished my tackles.
No, I didn't. Because I was on the opposite side. I was like on the,
Yeah,
the weak side or
that
whatever,
was
where all
the
the speed guys.
spectator.
So I was on the I was, and they would always run to the strong side, and I would see Owen nail. I'm like, yep, he's going down. Owen bounces off. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like,
sucked.
I look, I'm like, yo, he should be down. Owen hit him. Oh, it felt so bad. I'm like, dude, he absolutely popped him. It was good for him. He lowered it. Like, I remember this one time. I forget what game it was. It was a varsity night, and he dove. Like, Owen was off his feet, full on airborne, drills him with his shoulder head, and hits him, and then he just kind of bounces off. And the dude keeps running, and then someone else tackles him. I'm like, that was a great tackle.
Yeah.
How did he not go
They should have been
down?
big hits. I only weighed like 150 pounds.
Yeah,
in
you can't do
football.
much with that.
And there's guys that are still 6-pack abs and fully ripped, and they weigh 250 pounds at running back. You're like, I'm done for. There's nothing I can do against you. My main method of tackling, if I needed to get somebody down, was either hit him as hard as I could, like Devin described, or I would already be like on the ground from trying to break through a block, and you just grab something by their legs and pull as hard as you can. Like, I don't care if I break this guy's ankle, I need to get this tackle. It would just be like, and then they trip, and then you just know you got the tackle. There wasn't much honor in that, just tripping somebody up, but works, I guess. I don't know.
I remember this one time. It was another varsity night. I was sitting there, and it was a sweep to the outside, I'm pretty sure. And then so I was running off. I think I was on that side. Okay. And then I took off running. It was a sweep, so I took an angle. I was running, and I did not. What was it? Hang on. Let me think. I'm trying to remember what it was. I have a terrible memory.
You remember what game it was?
Mm-mm.
Oh, yeah.
It was a home game.
Too.
What year? Our junior, senior, sophomore.
I think it was our senior year. I think
Okay.
it was a senior year. I was out there.
it wasn't freshman.
No. Because it was a varsity night, so it had to be
okay.
at least
Yeah.
junior or senior.
Yeah.
I mean, there was nights as a freshman that we'd get in.
Yeah.
When,
I mean,
when
when we'd
Josh
be
got
up-
hurt and I had to go in that one time, every lineman is looking at me and they're like, "Kids, you just get the snap. We'll take your box." And I'm
We'd
like,
be up-
I'm peeing my pants.
We'd be up like 82 to nothing. And they're like, all right, freshman, 16 seconds left, get in there. You're like, no.
You're like, stop. I don't want to.
And then you would run in and you're like, "Yo, coach, they didn't put in their freshmen. What do we do?"
You're like,
You want us
why is
out?"
this guy still bigger than me, man?
Yeah, like I thought we were doing freshman battle
Are we
now.
doing a swap?
That's their starters, eh?
Yeah. But I'll finish the story real quick. So I took off running. It was a sweep. I ran to the outside, and somehow one of our defense players shoved a dude right in front of me. And I literally looked down. I watched his helmet drill my shin and trip me. Oh, I thought I broke my leg. Nailed my shin. I completely topple over. I'm rolling on the ground holding my shin. I swear it's broken. I get up, can barely put weight on it. And I'm like, oh my. It was one of the weirdest, most
Dude,
terrible pain I've ever felt.
If you're talking about watching pain, being on the O-line, when was that? What game was that?
Because this is Isaac's hand.
No. This is mine.
Oh, okay.
But just like, no, even as an O-lineman in general, you get in and like me being at center, I would snap and I'd get the block, and then it's like if you fall on the ground.
Camera shut off, Kitsy.
Oh.
Why didn't you tell us?
No diesel.
Progressive overload.
I forgot about the whole cuddling stories. Those are good. Those are good ones.
Dolph whispered that to me, and I was like, oh. I forgot about that.
But anyway, you can finish your story.
Just being on the line, like I would be on the ground, and if your hand is out, you're done for. And it's like it'd be my snapping hand, my good snapping right hand. You'd see a guy with the cleat go, like put out a like cigarette butt on your hand. He would just spin. I still have a scar somewhere from one cleat just doing a full 360 on like a joint, and you just watch it, and you're like, ah, like it just peels off the skin, getting cleated in the legs by linemen.
Cleats
It's
in the
just
shins.
right
There's
down.
nothing
Oh my-
worse.
Terrible.
Leaves a red mark for like a full week.
It would hit like the top of your shin, slide all the way down,
I did
then
it to-
step on your foot.
Helmets do like the exact same thing. Like I did it to Tyler one day during like a linebacker drill, and like we were just supposed to be like popping bags or something, and it like slipped to the side. My face mask just went right down his arm, huge purple line. I'm like,
You can
"Oh,
think as a
sorry,
ball
Tyler."
carrier, you hold the ball like
Yeah.
that, and they go and put their face mask right into your forearm.
brutal.
You would have massive bumps.
You got to drink a lot of milk, man.
Yeah. But back to the O lineman thing. I think it was Jared who's been on the podcast before.
Well, I don't know if that never aired.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it did.
Jared.
Oh, Jared. Yeah,
Yeah.
might be. Not
I'm
Jared.
pretty sure that one aired.
I sold.
thought
We
we
were
had a
sitting there,
secret
and he was talking
episode.
about how one time he watched Isaac's hand get separated. I think we were on defense. Isaac engaged, whatever, got thrown off. And he's on the ground. Jared looks over and sees the dude step on his hand and watches his knuckles separate. And his hand just like expand. And Isaac's sitting there screaming, and Jared just laughing. And he's
It's
just
such an
watching
Isaac story. I can see Isaac being like, he's like,
I can only imagine.
I feel like I remember
Oh my
that.
God.
'Cause
Dude, no.
Jared was dying.
But I remember Isaac. Remember that one day we're conditioning and they had like some fungicide or something on the field, and I was running with Isaac like next to him. He's like, "Man, I'm not feeling too good." But you don't want to be that guy that quits in the middle of the conditioning.
Yeah.
Then
Well, it was the,
do a couple more.
weirdest thing because all of we were
Yeah,
running
like
on
coughing
the
up
game
blood, I
field.
swear.
Well, we were shirtless too, weren't we?
Yeah, our lungs
hot
were
out that
our
day.
lungs and throats were on fire, and like we
Yeah.
know what it is to condition hard in the sun, like it's just hot. But like this was different. Everyone was burning; they could not breathe, and like obviously coach knew, and he even remember he sent the text to the school or whatever, and they didn't put any chemicals on it. Apparently, like they could have missed one, but they said
They
yeah.
thought
had-
it wasn't the last, like, their ultimate consensus about what happened was it was like something with the blades on the lawn.
It was,
Yeah.
yeah, they think like a mold grew like
Yeah.
from the mower not being clean for so long, and then like they
That's
mowed
crazy
over
that
it.
that
And then it was,
little
like,
amount of it
dispensed
though
all
would
over the
infect
field.
that entire
Yeah.
field because we were running. It felt like breathing in like
It
fiberglass.
did. It literally like
Terrible.
hurt to breathe that
And
day.
then you'd call. It's like when you're running when it's cold and you're coughing and it tastes like blood. And you're like,
Yes,
"Oh,"
that's exactly
and
it
your
right
chest
there.
starts hurting,
Yeah,
and it
and
was
you-
like that in like August.
Yeah.
We were like, dude, what is going on?
It didn't feel right.
The worst thing was we were all feeling it, but you didn't really want to speak up.
No,
so you
yeah.
you're going, but then
Yeah,
I
I would
think
have
Zeke went
I would
down.
have
You
little
passed
like
out.
I would have little convos with people like calling. I was like, bro, are our lungs on fire? Like, yeah, dude, I'm freaking burning. It was terrible. And then yeah, Isaac, we were running. I turn around so we were running one way. I turn around and we run back the other, and then
Yes.
like we had a break. I turn around, I still see Isaac laying down on the other side. I'm like, oh man.
I was right next to Owen Plyman, and he literally sounded like he was wheezing.
Yeah.
Like you could hear his lungs like struggling. I was like, dude, this is not right.
Isaac actually gave us like more details on that. We talked about it recently. He said that when like the ambulance showed up,
Yeah.
they called the ambulance for Isaac who passed out, and apparently they literally had what's it called? What's the defibrillator?
AED.
But yeah, the AED. They had it literally hooked up to him. They were about to use it,
Oh.
and then he woke up. It was like, Isaac, you about got your freaking heart jumped
Yes.
for passing out. From,
You about
like,
got rocked.
pesticide. I was like, dude, if I would have woke up, I'd be like, I'm fine. Like, dude,
Yeah.
like,
They like just shocked you.
yeah,
Yeah.
Jeez,
And you think if you get defibrillated when your heart's working fine, you think it stops it?
Yeah.
For a little
Well,
Isn't it like
so pretty much how the AED works is like you turn it on and it'll scan, and it won't let you shock
true.
unless it
That's
detects
true.
like some
unless
irregularity.
you
or
need
something.
it. Unless it's
That's true.
They don't detect
Because,
a heartbeat
yeah,
or the
all the-
irregularity.
A defibrillator, what it does is because when you're going into cardiac arrest, you have an irregular heartbeat. So instead of going like bum 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 bum, it's sitting there going like bum 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 bum. Your heart gets out of rhythm, and it's an electrical impulse from your brain that's making it beat perfect. And so when it's off, they have to shock it into the right rhythm. So it stops it, and then it goes ba 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 again.
Okay.
So if his was already going fine, they literally would have shocked it for no reason. Like, I just think it's hilarious because that's complete overkill for somebody passing out just from like, oh, my chest kind of hurts. Imagine just waking up and they're like,
I was just
Shock
imagining.
clear.
Yeah. You're just waking up like, what happened? And they're like, uh-oh. And they're like, it's slow motion. They're like, uh-oh.
It's like that. It's like how when people have like heart attacks, they pump adrenaline into your heart with a big needle. Like, imagine if Isaac's just passed out. They're like, he's like, stop.
and they're like already too late. They're already going into motion, and they know, and they're like, I'm
"Oh,
sorry.
Yeah. Poor Zeke.
So funny. Good times. You want to move into music and like bands and stuff?
Music theory.
Yeah.
You want to try to explain that?
No. I can explain to you a 3/4 paradiddle on that. No, I can't. I can't do that.
Me and Sherm were talking about maybe bringing a guitar, but then we're like, nah, we won't.
We won't put me on the spot.
Well, I probably would have
Well, I
played
still
with
wanted
you.
you
Yeah,
guys
me and-
too,
me
but
and
you said
Dole.
no.
Yeah. I'm like,
Devin's like, I don't want to be that guy.
I didn't know
cool
I'm not
guy.
gonna ask him to bring any of his stuff. And then like I only have one acoustic guitar, and I don't want to bring like my whole setup, and I don't want to be that guy that like, you want to play something, you know, that annoying guy.
Play something for
But-
us, Owen.
yeah.
Owen's in
That
a
would've been
band. And I'll let him tell you guys however much he wants
Yeah,
to
give
tell
the
or
deets of the
whatever.
band so they can check you out.
Yeah,
Deets
if
of
you
the
want
band. Our band's name is Kevin and the Others. We have a Facebook, Instagram. I think we have a Snapchat. I don't know why our band would have a Snapchat, but yeah, we're a cover band, just out of Fort Laramie. Which the funny thing is the last place we play is Fort Laramie. We do not play in Laramie at all. But
You did
yeah,
when you were smaller though.
huh?
You did when you were.
We did when we were
Yeah.
smaller. That's
Yeah.
kind of how we started. I've been in the band for 8 years. I think the band is around 10 years old.
Really?
That's wild.
Yeah,
I
originally
know.
started by Jacob and Kevin. Jacob, my brother, and Kevin Meyer, the drummer, the namesake of the band. It had Caleb Albers, the bassist, our bassist.
Who was a singer for that? I thought you were there from the beginning.
No,
Yeah.
it was Caleb. Caleb played bass and sang.
Okay.
And Jeremy Yates was in the band. I
No
think he had
way.
a guitar and he played bass. The lineup wasn't originally. It was literally just Jacob and Kevin playing drums, playing guitar together, just learning songs. And then they were like, "Let's get a singer," and they'd pick somebody from their class, Caleb, because he's into music. And then Jeremy was friends with Caleb, and they played and both of them could play and sing or whatever. But so then eventually it got to the point they played a talent show at Laramie, and our family's watching it because we're all proud of Jake, and we're like, "Dang, you can play guitar!" And I mean, we knew it, but in a band, it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just those three playing. It was Caleb, Jacob, and Kevin. Caleb was playing bass and singing. They're playing like "You Shook Me All Night Long," and I just remember I was like 11 at the time, and they're like, "Oh, and you like all this music? I hear you singing around." I'm like, "Yeah, but it's like joking. Like nobody sings to try to sound good when you're a little kid."
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "You should get in there. Jake's in the band." And I'm like, "Okay."
Well, you had to be at 12 at that point.
Oh yeah, like 11,
Yeah.
12.
Like
That's
I've
young.
done some deep dives into their Instagram page, like YouTube, and I'd go back and
I
find
was-
the oldest
I was
video when
tiny,
it was
man.
little Owen, like young Owen. I was like, oh my
Like huge,
god,
like insanely high voice. I was singing like Rush and like really high songs. I was not a good singer. I can tell you that.
I remember you at White Oak Jamboree the one year.
Yeah.
It was like one of your first years there, and little Owen goes up on stage, and it's so funny because all like his mom, his grandma, and they're all there like cheering little Owen on, and he's up there.
he had guts, man. He had
It-
guts.
it's
But like
scary.
I
It
just
was
remember
scary.
I remember the high voice.
Yeah.
And that was I can see it.
I'd sit there while Jake was soloing and stuff, just hands in the pocket, because it's like, what do I
It's, like,
do?
awkward, yeah.
It is. Like, even now, like, when Jake has a 20-minute guitar solo, I'm like, what am I supposed to be
Yeah.
doing when I'm not playing guitar? Just standing here.
yeah, you look pretty comfortable
Yeah.
now though. Like the most recent one I've seen, like you walk around, you take a drink of water,
Yeah.
you're banging your head, and you'll like give a little smirk to Kevin, the drummer or the bassist, talk to him
Yeah.
real quick,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, you
That's
look
the-
really natural up there now.
That's
Yeah.
good. I hope so.
Yeah. So we're back. We had a little problem, a hiccup like normal.
Yeah, we don't know how batteries work, so
No,
we'll
we
just
don't.
move on from that.
It wouldn't be a Speaking Sporadically podcast if we didn't have to go over a hump. If there isn't a bad cut somewhere in the podcast, just know like it's not us.
A mic off.
Yeah.
Battery dead.
Battery dead. It's not
A
us.
mic off?
Mine was still off. I turned mine off after.
Oh, you
That
just-
could have
you
been
can just
bad.
leave it
All right,
on.
let me see it. This is the little light showing. Yeah, you're good now.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
Good thing I
That could have been
mentioned
bad.
Yeah.
That was a
So-
save.
It just cut off where Owen was talking about how he was really good on stage, and then we talked for another like 20 minutes after that you guys missed, and it was good conversation. We were gonna try to like re-say it, but then again, like we don't
Robotic.
want to.
Yeah, you want it to feel natural.
Yeah. So unfortunately, you guys may not be able to hear everything we just talked about, but we'll.
It's exclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess, I mean, I had another question I wanted to ask. How did you guys exactly, I know you said Kevin started it. Was it just him that said, we're calling it Kevin the Others, no and if or buts about it?
No, yeah, that would have been really bad if Kevin named the band after himself. I think that's the general consensus a lot of times is people are always like, it's kind of selfish, Kevin, calling it Kevin and the Others. But especially because it's the Others.
Yeah.
And we're like the front three people in the
Yeah.
band, and we're just
They're
the others.
They're the others.
The others.
But no, so the band name came from, and the band guys can probably cringe if I get this story wrong, but Jacob and Kevin used to be in English together or whatever in high school, and they were trying to make band names because they had like the original 3-4 lineup already, and this was before I was in the band, and they were just brainstorming ideas, and I think somebody came up. Somebody came up with Kevin and the Others, and it wasn't anybody in the band. And they were like, "Oh, that'd be funny. It'd be a funny name because it's just cheesy. It's like an old man band name." And Kevin's into that kind of music. He likes the old weird stuff. And so the original thing is Kevin. He will fight this to this day. He will fight it with all his heart. Is people say that he stole it from Kevin and the Zits from The Office.
Wasn't it also? Wasn't Kevin in like? Sorry, it's off
Yeah.
topic. Was he in Scrantonicity?
And then there was like Scrantonicity 3.
Yeah, and then there's like 2 and 3, and then there was like Kevin and the Zits.
That was the one with like Andy, I think.
Yeah,
Whatever.
it was.
Yep. No, but yeah, so like Kevin watched The Office, Jacob watched The Office, and people are like, "Yeah, you stole it from there." No, they didn't. But yeah, that's where the name came from. But the whole situation about it I like is that it can be abbreviated to Kato, which doesn't sound stupid. I mean, I'm sorry, Kevin, but it's just funny.
It
'cause
is.
Kevin's the drummer of our band, and it's Kevin and the Others. And like,
Yeah.
Kevin doesn't talk during the show or
Yeah.
anything. Kevin does his stick flipping, goes crazy and stuff, but he's nowhere near like trying to be flashy and be the front man of the band.
Yeah.
So I just think it's funny
mean,
because
you probably-
everybody always assumes I'm Kevin.
That's what I was about to say. You probably get called Kevin all the time.
Always.
But like, could you imagine if it was like Owen and the others?
I know. I
Jacob
would
and
feel
the
like
others,
I would feel like a
Jado, Oedo.
jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would also like if I'm the lead singer, it's Owen and the Others, and it's all these musical people don't
Yeah.
matter. I'm the main thing.
Yeah.
That's why it's hilarious that you focus on the drummer because it's like
Yeah.
why?
I love that about it. I think that's what makes it
Yeah.
funny and ironic. And it's just Kevin, because Kevin's obviously like one of the jokesters of the group. Like he's hilarious.
Yes.
And it's just like Kevin and the Others. It's just like building your name around a joke is what makes it so funny and iconic.
And that's like our
And
whole
it's
thing.
great.
Is we have so many dumb inside jokes and
Yeah.
stuff that we'll say them on stage and nobody gets it, but we'll just do it. Yeah. like Devin's thunderstruck joke. I do that when he's at any show. What did that come from? A song would start playing,
We were in English class and they were playing music.
and she would play thunderstruck,
Yeah.
and Devin would look away from me, look at me, and he'd go, and then he'd start going.
Because this is
And we'd
this is
start doing it.
This is the big time when I was just learning guitar,
Yeah.
and I was like really into AC/DC. Still am.
And
So, like,
he would talk about how he wanted to learn thunderstruck.
yeah, and
so
it would play, and I'd look over at Owen, and I'd be like,
he'd be like, "Oh!" So then it got to the point she would turn on any like weird rock song. It wouldn't even be thunderstruck, and Devin would go.
and now we do it at every show.
So now when Thunderstruck starts playing, Jake does this huge epic intro. It's like, and then it's, and I'll see Devin. Devin goes every time.
I even do it before songs. Like it'll start
Yeah.
the like Blink-182, like all the small things like that. And I'll just look at
so
Owen and I'll be
far
like,
from it. Devin will go, oh.
like if we ever lock eyes, you see me and
Yeah.
Owen go, It's so good.
That's the thing is that like that back to that personal experience thing is I'm there. If Devin's there, I'm there for him. I'm not there for the random people in the crowd. But no, a funny story with the whole band name thing is my favorite part about being called Kevin and the Others is that the whole thing about being assumed that I'm Kevin, like we'll joke with people because most of our I'd give it 89% of our crowd is dumb drunk by the end of the night.
89.
Like
89.
like it's bad, like sloppy, like falling on each other, like falling on our light stands drunk. And so the best thing to do with drunk people when you're sober is mess with them. Like
always.
you cannot sit there and like tell them a story and think they're gonna care. Like it's just fun to mess with them. So people will be like, they'll. Like you said, it'll be like, play us a song, and it's like Kevin, it'll be me, and I'm like, I am not Kevin. Then they'll go, who is? And then my brain is always like, yes. I'm like, yes, please ask me who Kevin is, and I'll be like, none of us are named Kevin, and she's like, what? We're like, that's the joke, is you think everybody in the band's, somebody in the band's name is gonna be Kevin,
Nope.
and they're like, and I'm like, no, it's not. So then they're like, so what's your name? And I'll be like, I don't know. Or it'll just be like, Owen. And they're like, Owen? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, why isn't it called Owen and the Others? We'll have this conversation like while a song's going. And I'm like, shut up. And then I'll just like, I'll keep singing. But then, so like the power people in the crowd feel if they come to each of our shows is them learning our names. Because like, the power they hold that they can get your attention now.
Yeah.
It's not, hey, singer or anything. It's Owen. And then you don't expect to hear it in the crowd. You think it's going to be somebody you know. And you're like, oh, God,
Yeah.
it's them again.
Rando.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's those people again. They're going to be like, play this song for me, please. No.
I will not.
for you. I'm sorry. We have a set schedule. It's not going to be like, guys, let's go from Sweet Home Alabama. Let the bodies hit the floor. Let's go. Let's go.
No,
And like,
honestly, that was the next song in the lineup. We're gonna skip it.
no.
Little change of pace.
And
here.
then, we'll literally go from playing like Let the Bodies Hit the Floor, and then we'll play like Miley Cyrus afterward. And they're like, no, put my hands up, because they just want to hear it. Like, it's annoying.
Yeah.
No, but so the whole name, saying the name of the band thing is like, that's the biggest running joke in our band, is because it'll be like, who's Kevin? I'll be like, it's Jacob. I'll point to Jacob, our guitarist, my brother, and you'll be like tuning his guitar, and he's Jacob. Like I said before, he despises people, and it's just, and those people in the crowd that are drunk and want to talk to him, that is the person top on the list of people Jacob hates. Is people that want to talk to him but don't really care about anything he's doing. It's just because he's the cool guy on stage. So they'll go up there and I'll be like, he's Kevin, and I'll walk away. And I'll just watch. I'll tell Caleb too. I'll be like, because we'll be like between songs. I'm like, Caleb, I just told them Jacob's Kevin, watch this, and they'll just sit there and they'll kind of watch it. I'll tell it to Kevin too. And this person's like, hey Kevin. They're with their friends, and they're like, Kevin. And they're like in front of him on the stage, and Jake's got the classic Jake face on it, tuning his guitar, just completely hates the world. And he'll finally realize they're trying to get his attention, and he's like, what? And they're like Kevin, and he's like, get Kevin, and they're like, no, Kevin. And I'll just sit there, and me and Caleb are freaking slapping our knees, we're dying already, and Jake's like, shut up. They'll be like, play us a solo, do it, just start shredding, and they'll just turn around or like flip them off or something. He does it all the time. But yeah, and then it's, the joke is either everybody's Kevin, and then by the time they finally figure out Kevin's the drummer, they don't care anymore, because they
lost interest.
because Kevin has no, like, Kevin doesn't really have the power to, like, he doesn't have the mic in his hand, he doesn't have the guitar, he's got the drums, so it's like, Kevin, play us a song, and he'll go like, like, he'll just do stupid stuff, or he'll just be like, and he'll just be like, done. Like, it's just funny. I love it. Up on the stage, it's just you guys. Like, I'm not concerned with talking to the people. Like, Kevin's not. Kevin loves the social aspect of it, being in front of all these people, talking to all these people.
He likes to please a crowd. You can tell.
He does. Kevin
When
is
the
a
mic's in
big
his
crowd
belly.
pleaser, and me and Jacob see that as a negative, but it's a positive in our band. And so, like, I feel like a jerk all the time for talking about Kevin being a people pleaser, but it's a good thing to have. But so, like, Kevin will try to talk to the people in the crowd, but like, people, like, we'll get on a break, and someone's like, hey, come here, come talk to me, and they'll be like, you are so good, and they're so drunk. I'm like, shut up. Like, and then I'm like, I have to go to the bathroom, and I'll go take a pee. I'm like, dude, I just drank 14 bottles of water on stage, and I do not care what you have to say to me. This probably makes me look so bad as a lead singer.
No,
this is why I'm the last person you talk to when you're at a show. I'm not there to be your best friend. I'm there to put on a show, and you can watch me if you want. That's kind of how it works.
Yeah, if you want.
I mean, it's not like any of us would know, but I think it's like relatable, just like when people are drunk
Yes.
in general.
Yeah, like at a party.
Yeah. You don't want the person to be hanging off of you. Like, control yourself, please.
It's annoying.
Even though you have those every once in a while.
But there's always people in the crowd I know, and I like them because they want to talk to me as a person, not the lead singer.
Yeah.
Not as possibly Kevin.
Yeah, not as
Are
Kevin.
you Kevin?
Kevin question mark? A big joke is I always want to get a custom shirt that says I'm not Kevin.
That'll be
And
funny.
but then
be
that
good.
still makes him guess who's Kevin. Then.
there's
If, he,
still
if he's
two
not
other-
the lead singer,
there's still
who's it
three
gonna
of
be?
You all show up with shirts.
That say I'm not Kevin.
Or you all are Kevin.
Or like I'm
I
with,
am
or
Kevin.
like I'm with Kevin and have an arrow pointing to Jacob. Jacob's arrow points behind him. Kevin's points to the right. Like,
That'll be so funny.
yeah, that's how the convoluted name story came to be, I guess.
But back to Cato. Like Cato is the acronym, and it is a really good name. I don't know why.
That's what I prefer to call them.
Yeah, I always try to call it Cato.
I call it Cato too.
It's
I
just
like
faster, and like hopefully,
and everybody by now already knows what it means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's not kind of disrespecting Kevin taking his name out of the band because, I mean, he didn't do it himself,
Right.
but I think that funniness still needs to be there because then it's Cato. Does that stand for anything? Yeah, Kevin and the others. Like, what? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
why would it stand for that?
It's more brandable too.
Yeah. We do kind of have a cool logo right now. I wish I would have brought my keys in. I have a keychain. Oh, it's on the back of
Really?
my phone. That logo?
Mhm.
I kind of like it.
Yeah.
You could try
Right
to put
there.
it up there. I don't know if it'll. Yeah.
It'll
It's
be
the
tough
it's the
for you.
thundercloud. Anybody that's watching this and has heard about Cato has probably seen that logo.
Yeah. You can look on their Instagram and all
Yeah,
that stuff too.
Facebook.
Follow them.
Facebook's big. Facebook's where we post
Facebook.
like all of our dates, and they're like big on the timeline and stuff. So,
That's dope.
but especially like last night, Kevin messed up the time for Eagles that we were playing.
Really?
8:30 to 11:30. I was like, yes, 3-hour show. Kevin's like, what? And I was like, what? You said 11:30, and he's like, no, I didn't. And like we told him that at the end of the show, and he goes, I have dementia, dude. Like he's like, you're joking. I was like, no. He literally did math wrong. He thought,
What time did you end up playing till?
12:30.
Oh,
So it's a 4-hour show. We always play 4-hour shows. That's the other thing. People don't think that about like live entertainment. You think they're gonna play like an hour max. 4 hours is a long time, man. To be on a stage. Those first couple years where I was singing, I was dying. Because I was going through puberty and my voice is changing, and I'm trying to sing these songs that are really high, some are really low, and your voice is just not in a good spot during puberty.
Yeah.
It's trying to change, and so I had to put as much like power into it. It's like I was trying to sing and notes weren't loud, so I was like pushing as hard as I could. I remember at that time I was getting the worst like stress headaches singing. Like, you know, when you're just like holding your breath and like lifting really hard, like if you compress the air, it's doing that on end, like just squeezing your diaphragm over and over again. I remember we played at Al's and I literally about puked from how bad my stress headache was. It's to the point where you're like jamming your fingers.
Is it the one behind the eyes?
Yes.
Yep. Felt that.
Yeah.
Like the Slipknot
The same
song.
thing is with the guitar. Like I'm not even good. I haven't even played long, but like if you play for a
glad
while,
you got
it,
that.
it hurts. Like it
does.
gets hard.
I
to
still my
play.
fingers still get sore if I play long enough.
Yeah.
You get calluses, but that's the thing you don't
tips.
think about. Is like Jacob's sitting there on those needle thin strings soloing. Like I've felt his fingertips before because he'll just be like, feel this, and it's like leather because he does that all day. But you get to a show, that stuff hurts, man. I have big, thick strings on my white guitar, my newest guitar, because I tune it up and down. Because at home I play metal and stuff on it because it's low, and then you tune it up back high to play it for a show. And those thick strings, and they're impossible to bend, and they're like, you know how a guitar string's textured with the coil, right? So when you slide up and down, it's like ripping your skin off.
Yeah.
Like it hurts. Other pain of a guitarist is I have an open sore on my finger like all the time, and that's my picking hand, and that's while you're standing up and playing. You can't like rest your hand on the guitar really. So when you're strumming, you will hit that top string with that right above your fingernail almost every time.
Yeah.
It hurts so bad. I just did it last night. That's why it's hard. That's raw again. It hurts.
Yeah.
There's pain in it. There's blood, sweat, and tears in the band.
Yeah. So the band reminds me honestly a lot of the podcast. Like a lot of the stuff we've been talking about. Like it's just like something you do weekly and you like love doing
It's just
it.
like starting anything.
It's
yeah.
just so fun. It's going well, but at the same time there are some weekends where like you do not want to do it.
Yep.
You don't have the energy, but you still do. But overall it's just been a great experience, and like it's just a blast, and I don't know. And you all put your own time, money, and effort into it, and
Yeah.
to hopefully get something out of it. That is fun.
relatable to this podcast. I like what you guys are doing here. You're doing something different. This is
Yeah.
cool. It's obviously a passion project and stuff like
Oh, we
that.
love
so
it.
Yeah.
you can always tell things like that are going to go far when you guys are obviously this dedicated and you're putting your money into it and putting your time and effort.
We
When
hope.
when it first started and I like saw it, and someone posted it on Snapchat maybe, and I was like confused because like I don't listen to podcasts. Like I didn't know what that was.
Yeah.
But I was like, all right, it's guys I know talking about relatable stuff. So I was like, all right, I'll give it a couple listens. And then like whenever I saw the videos, I like really started to watch because like you can see, while audio's good, you can see facial expressions and like
Yeah.
It's more
you
in
can
the
understand
moment.
more of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what I liked about it.
That is
Whenever
good.
I started.
Yeah. What was I just about to say? Gosh dang, this always happens too.
Like,
Yes. Oh, I was just say like another thing is like at first when we first started, I thought like a lot of people would like think this was like almost like a joke.
Yeah.
You know, or like not take it seriously and everything, or people would be like, yeah, it's whatever, it's kind of weird or whatever. But like ever since we reached a certain point and people understood that like we're pretty serious about it, I've only gotten like good compliments. Like people
Yeah.
like genuinely saying like, yo, keep it up.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
enjoyable.
Yeah.
I thought I would be like the people joke like, still doing that podcast, but then like
Yeah.
once we got like on camera, we got these nice mics.
because that's almost spot on how the band
I was gonna say,
is.
like, the more I think about it, like, it has to be like right up there. It's a very public thing. You know, you're trying to grow and spread it
and
to
it's
people.
a lot of people that were hearing me because I'm the youngest in the band. I'm 4 or 5 years younger than every other band member, and it's like if I'm the one telling people I'm in a band, they think it's some little kid band. and
Yeah, and
it's-
yeah.
these kids aren't going to be very good, and they're playing little venues that'll have them. And then it's like, you guys any good? And then we go out there, like especially now that I'm 19 and I'm not the little boy anymore. I mean, I'm still young. They always are surprised when they hear I'm 19, but it's just cool. It's just cool to me, like, because then you go there and people like don't expect you to be good when they show up, and then they always by the end of the time are like, "Holy crap, man, you killed it!"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, I wouldn't have told you I was in a band if I wasn't
Yeah.
confident that we were good."
I mean,
Yeah.
just your guys' setup too. You can see you're the real deal.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah, Kevin's the man behind all the staging and setup, and he knows all the equipment, and he wants us to put on like the best show we can with all of our lighting, and because Kevin has these moving heads that have 6 bulbs and they do all kinds of spinning, and he programs them on a laptop. He's got this laptop back by him while he's playing drums, and he'll change the light settings so it'll be like strobing, then it's like boom, waving around, then he'll change it. And he has them programmed to specific songs too sometimes.
That's sick.
And he has a click track playing in his ears because they have in-ear monitors, so they hear everything. We have speakers that play like my voice
Right.
back to me. I could have it just only in my ears. That's why like if you ever watch singers playing, they just have headphones in. But yeah, so Kevin will have a click track playing to say like pour some sugar on me, so it keeps his drums perfectly in time. So then the lights match up to like the entire cueing of the song, so it'll get to like a build up and the lights will just shine up, and then it's like boom, and he can have the fog machines programmed in, and there's lights on our fog machines. You can make an orange light under white fog and it looks like flames, it looks like
Yeah.
pyro, and it goes
That's awesome.
really loud and it shoots straight up. I love that stuff.
Dude, imagine Halloween episode, fog machine out here in this
There
cabin.
you go.
That'd be sick.
I'm looking forward to these like holiday ones because I know this
Yeah.
last Halloween we had the lights off and all the eerie vibes, but we weren't on video.
right.
So like the more we do video stuff, it's gonna be. I
Yeah,
think
you
we're
can
gonna have
put
some
like
cool things
candles
out here.
around and stuff.
Yeah.
That's
It'd be
exactly
cool.
what I meant by like the environment, like being able to
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
like what they're saying and stuff, and like
And just
like,
hand gestures.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does help
Means so
when you,
much.
because like I remember at the beginning when we were audio only, like we would do hand gestures, like wait, they can't see this. How do we have to describe this a lot more?
Yeah.
But now,
I do remember hearing you guys say
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like I can't show them. How do I describe?
now
this?
we still try to describe it because there are some people who do just listen to it, but like
Right.
we're definitely a little more relaxed.
But then
'cause
I
you could
think it's
watch
also
it.
cool that you have the option where it's like, I wonder what Devin looks like. If somebody
Yeah.
has no
Yeah.
idea who Devin is, then it's like,
yeah.
watch
I
it.
I don't think a lot of people know, but you can watch the video on Spotify too.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah. So I mentioned it in one of them. I was like, yeah, if you're on Spotify and you hear something interesting, you can pull it up on your phone and see the video of it.
Yeah,
Is it really?
usually.
I thought there.
the one I
there's a
looked
lot of podcasts like that I didn't know. Like on Apple, I listen to that Mind Pump one, the lifting podcast,
okay.
all the time. And they have them video recorded, and I was always like, I wonder if these guys are even like jacked or anything, or they just know a lot about it. And they are. I was like, dang.
Well, the big
Holy
thing with
crap.
Spotify is they wanted like Joe Rogan to come over to Spotify, and he said, no, I'm not going to do it if it's
Yep.
audio only. And they're like, well, we'll make a whole video feature for you.
Yeah,
He's like,
jeez.
bet.
Yeah,
I mean, he is the number one. Isn't he number one?
Has to be.
probably.
I think-
I think so.
Yeah.
He is like the podcast. Like if you think of a podcast, you think
Yeah,
of Joe
Yeah.
'cause
Rogan.
he posts the true
Joe
like
Rogan
4
experience.
hours unedited. Just
It's fun to listen
sit
to,
there.
dude.
Yeah.
It, like they talk about some stuff.
His guests are great.
Yeah,
Oh, that's pretty cool.
yeah.
Yeah, they
It's a lot like YouTube, and it's nice because you can like still close the app and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So obviously, you know.
Yeah. Seen it a couple times.
Seen it
here and there.
before.
Jacob, you seen this?
Have you heard of this podcast called Speaking Sporadically?
I know a thing or two.
That would
'cause
be
I've seen it.
hilarious.
He knows the thing or two.
Oh my goodness! If like people around here know about the podcast, and if someone like came up to any one of us hosts and like, "Yo, you hear about this?" Or like, "You know these guys?" Like, "Oh, I'm from Larmy." "Oh, do you know these guys that made this podcast in Larmy?" Oh, that would be hilarious.
Yeah.
That would be so funny.
I always do that at like shows and stuff. I'll be in the bathroom, and if there's somebody in the stall, I'm like, "How's the band doing?" And I hope they're just like, "Oh, they suck so bad." And then they come out and see it's me, or they just don't know, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"All right, guys, we are sucking tonight.
You
Like,
gotta
we
test the
get this
waters
up."
a little
Yeah. The best is like my one thing is like I could play a full 4-hour show, no breaks, but I drink so much water, so I have to go to the bathroom all the time.
Yeah.
What do you guys do for breaks? You kind of like, do you have intermediate? I've been to a couple shows, and that one you just had like it's like a halftime. Play
Yeah,
some
that's
tunes,
pretty
like-
much what it is. We never do anything where it's there's some times where it's like, because we played these places called Tin Roof, and it's like a chain bar, and it was in Cincinnati, and there was one in Indianapolis, and we played both of them like one weekend, then the next weekend. So we were in Cincy one weekend, then Indy next, and they wanted us to play a full 4 hours, no breaks. They told us no breaks. We were like, I don't know how we're gonna do that. But so like if I had to go to the bathroom, it just got to the point where I was like, Kevin, drum solo. And Kevin's like, dude, he's going crazy, and I'm like, everybody notices what I'm doing. It's just like it's technically not a break if Kevin's doing everything.
I mean,
it's
we're still entertainment. at that
yeah,
point.
or it's like Jacob, guitar solo. I gotta go so bad.
Kevin, tell some jokes.
Yeah.
It turns into stand-up
Stand-up.
comedy.
Why
Like,
did the chicken cross
they turn
the
on
road?
all the lights, and they turn off theirs on the stairs. Like, welcome in, guys. How about that airline food?
Kevin literally said that last
Yeah.
night. He started telling jokes to the crowd because these like Larmy guys show up, and we couldn't decide what song to play because they were all shouting songs, and we're like, which one do you want to hear? Because we were technically playing to them at that point. There were like 5 people at our show last night, and Kevin's like, we're just gonna start a stand-up act now. You guys aren't gonna hear any more music. And he's like, how about that airline food? And they're like, you guys stink. This guy stinks. Oh, brother. That's fun though.
Yeah.
I couldn't wish for anything else. It's a lucky experience.
Yeah. I feel the same way with the pod.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys need to
Same.
start making money off it then.
Yeah. But
Hey, man.
it's on the road. Yeah.
First dollar,
Made
yeah.
some. Yeah, we don't know how to get our ads back in it, though. I'm
Yeah,
sure the
it's-
viewers don't mind, but
Yeah, it's. I don't know. I'm not too worried about like money now. Down the road, I will be once we get bigger and like more set up on like YouTube.
And if this
stuff,
becomes
but-
more of a time
right,
a time dump. Like I know our shows when we have to set up sometimes it's like a 12-hour deal.
Yeah.
Like we used to we play at Coldwater at McSober's. That's probably my favorite place to play right now. It kind of always has been. But so like it's a 30-minute drive to Coldwater, but like 30 minutes before, me and Jacob are at home. You gotta get in the shower like an hour and a half before. You gotta pack up all of your stuff because our guitar stuff's set up at home because we're playing at home. You have to tear it all down, put it in bags, put it at the front of the house, get your car, put it all in the car, go drive 30 minutes to Coldwater, take it all back out, set it all up, but you only get to set it up after all the band stuff's set up, all the speakers and everything. And that's like 2-3 hours before the show starts as we're setting up because it takes a little while.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many cables and stuff. Like, I don't even know how half of it works still. Like, it's just so much stuff. Like, it's each monitor needs a cable. Each monitor needs a power cord. Each power cord needs a surge protector. Each surge protector goes to a huge big power cable. Where's the main power? It's out back. You got to go. Like, it's just crazy.
I don't know how you keep organization of stuff like that.
Yeah.
We just have boxes that have specific
Labels.
things. Like, me and Jacob take care of power.
Okay.
But all of our stuff goes in a trailer. Kevin has a trailer that sits at his house, and it's got all of his drums and all the band equipment in it. But like, personally, like I have my mic, I have my guitar. Jacob has his guitars. Caleb has his guitar. And so we get there, we set up the band stuff, set up personal stuff, and then start the show. 4-hour show. Takes about an hour and a half, 2 hours, tear back down. Then there's the 30-minute drive back, and then 30-minute like unload again. It's a long day.
Yeah.
And we, for a band around here, we do not charge much compared to like a Tricky Dick. They're a pretty huge band. People get them for
Yeah.
weddings and like really nice bars and stuff.
They went pretty big though. Like they played in Vegas and stuff.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
no,
Like, they went
I
pretty
just
big,
know,
yeah.
but like they would play the hall for weddings. They would charge probably $5-6 grand.
Yeah, someone just told me last night that there's gonna be a wedding at the hall, and I think the lowest they would take was $5
Wow.
G's.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, that's up there.
Cato for a wedding charges like $1,400-1,600.
Book Cato now.
If you're getting
Cato.
married anytime soon.
Yeah, we put on a good wedding show. We've played a lot of weddings actually.
Yeah. I went to one pretty recently. It's pretty good. It's a good show.
We don't get to go crazy or anything like usual on stage, but it's still fun. We can still play music well. It's just not the eye candy stuff going on.
Yeah.
Jacob's not doing his front flips on stage, and
Can
Angus
you do
Young-
front flips?
No.
Oh, I thought it said.
He does his Angus Young routine where he
Yeah.
falls on the ground, does the little windmill
the
spin around.
That's good. So
Jake goes hard. There was a time
One-legged hop across stage.
he does that all the time. There was a time he cracked his forehead open because he headbanged and went boom right into his microphone,
Oh.
Jesus.
and it was just bleeding down his face.
Still
probably looks
playing.
sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I looked.
It was on his
pretty heavy.
birthday at Owl's. We played New Year's Eve at Owl's like 3-4 years ago, and it was his 21st birthday. Yeah, that would have been 3 years ago.
Good times. Well, that about wrap up this episode.
Yeah.
We'll do the outro for the second time. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching, whatever you're doing. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, TikTok. Hit that subscribe and like button. Really means a lot. Thank you, Owen. Thank you, Brock, for coming up.
Thank
for having
you.
us out.
It was, you guys were awesome. It was a really good episode. I had a lot of fun today. Even on the part that didn't get recorded. Still learned a lot. I still
Yeah,
enjoyed
it was
it.
a good time.
Still enjoyed it. Yeah, it was a really good show. So, we'll see you guys next week. Till then, peace.
Peace.